Welcome back to this 001 Game Creator video tutorial series, where we'll be continuing to cover how to create your very own role-playing game from start to finish using the built-in action RPG template. In the first part of this bonus tutorial, we'll be learning how to create a flashlight, as well as making a roof for our bedroom that toggles on and off when the player enters and leaves. Let's start by learning how to create a flashlight that the player can toggle on and off. First, click on the Variables, Switches, Collections and Tables button along the main toolbar, and then click on the Edit Switches button. Use the blank text box at the top to create a new switch. I'll name mine Flashlight. Create a light on my first map by clicking on the light icon, moving your mouse cursor over your map and left clicking to place it. Then give your light an appropriate name. I'll name mine Flashlight Light. Untick the currently turned on checkbox and select Continue for the map's sun color to change automatically to a darker grey. It's important to note that our flashlight won't be visible on maps with the sun color set to white. Now click the Interfaces tab in the bottom left corner of the screen and select the HUD interface. Create a timer by clicking on the timer spawn icon, moving your mouse cursor over your interface and left clicking to place it. Change the name of your timer to something more appropriate. I've named mine Flashlight Timer. Set the initial delay to 0, the every interval to 0.01 seconds, and then tick the Must Be Turned On Through Event checkbox so that the timer doesn't start running until we tell it to. Now click on the Edit Script button to open the script editor and double-click on the Switch Branch event from the Quick Access panel. Then select your flashlight switch from the drop-down menu and click OK. Next, click on the Expand Events button, type Light into the search box, and double-click on the Position Light event. Select My First Map, followed by Flashlight Light, and make sure to also untick the Only in Selected Map checkbox to the left. Doing so will make sure that the light can still be found even when the player moves to a different map. Then select Main for the map to reposition the light on whatever map the player happens to be on. Click on the Small Use Value button next to the X text box, type Position into the search box, and then double-click the X Position Use Value under Actor. Select Main and click OK. Do the same for the Y text box, only this time double-clicking Y Position instead. Set the Z text box to 48 and click OK to close the script editor. Now we need a new input trigger to toggle the flashlight on and off. First, let's create a new control so we can set up different key bindings. Click on the Controls button along the main toolbar and then click on the Add Control button. Give your new control an appropriate name. I'll name mine Flashlight, and then click on the Add button besides Player 1 to open the input window. Press F on your keyboard for it to automatically appear in the Key/Gamepad text box, and then click OK. Feel free to add an additional key binding for your gamepad as well. Next, click on the Input Triggers button along the main toolbar and select the regular game input set from the list to the left. Then click on the Add Control Combination button, followed by the blank button, and then select your flashlight control from the Defined Control drop-down menu. Then click on the Pressed and Released button. This will ensure that the script won't execute until the player has fully pressed down and released the F key. Click on the Edit Script button to open the script editor and double-click the Switch Operation event from the Quick Access panel. Select your flashlight switch and then set the action to toggle. This option will turn the light off if it's already turned on and on if it's already turned off. Now double-click on the Switch Branch event and select your flashlight switch. Click on the Expand Events button, type Light into the search box, and double-click on the Turn On and Off Light event. Select My First Map and Flashlight Light, making sure to untick the Only in Selected Map checkbox, like we did for the Position Light event. Then set the Turn option to On. Click on the Expand Events button again, type Timer into the search box, and double-click on the Start Stop Timer Spawn event. Select HUD, and then click on your flashlight timer. Set the state to Start and click OK. Now we just need to copy these events over for the right node as well. To do this, click and drag your mouse cursor within the script editor until both the Turn On and Off Light and Start Stop Timer Spawn events are selected. Then right-click one and select Copy from the drop-down menu. Right-click again and select Paste to duplicate the events. Then click the right node of the Switch Branch event and attach it to the duplicated Turn On and Off Switch event so that they're connected. Double-click the duplicated Turn On and Off Switch event and change the state to Off. Do the same for the duplicated Start Stop Timer Spawn event, setting the state to Stop. Once finished, click OK to close the script editor. Test your game to see your new flashlight in action. Press the F key on your keyboard to turn on the flashlight, and then walk around to see the light follow you. Press the F key again to turn it off. You can expand upon this concept further by creating a battery that slowly depletes whenever the flashlight is turned on. All you need is a global variable that decreases whenever the flashlight is turned on, and a comparison branch event that checks the current value of the global variable. When the value is less than or equal to 0, then simply turn the flashlight off. Now we're going to look into creating a roof for our bedroom that toggles on and off when the player enters and leaves, respectively. With the Draw tool selected, click on the Roof's tileset from the tileset picker. Select the Filled Rectangle tool from the drawing tools to the right, and then click on the yellow roof tile. Move your mouse cursor over your map, and then press the Page Up key on your keyboard twice. This will increase the map layer the roof tile will be placed on. The vertical line coming out of the roof tile shows this. Move your mouse cursor to the top left of your bedroom, and then click and drag towards the bottom right so that the entire inside of the bedroom is filled in. Now click on the zone icon, move your mouse cursor over your map, making sure you press the Page Down key on your keyboard twice to reset the map layer back to how it was originally, and click and drag to draw a small rectangle that covers the entrance of your bedroom door. Give your zone an appropriate name. I'll name mine Bedroom Roof Zone. Then double click on the Collided with Actor Player trigger to open the script editor. Add a comparison branch event, and for the expression, click on the small use value button, type position into the search box, and double click on the Y position use value under actor. Select main for the actor, and then click OK. Set the operator to greater than, and then for the value, click on the small use value button, type position again, however this time, double click the Y position use value under door instead. Select this, and then bedroom door, and click OK. Now click inside the value text box, and add +48 to the end. This event will be used to check if the player is currently standing in front of the door or behind it. The extra 48 we added onto the value will act as padding to compensate for the door's collision. Without it, we wouldn't be able to accurately check if the player is in fact outside or inside the bedroom. Now click on the Expand Events button, type Tile into the search box, and double click on the Switch Tile event. Select this for the map and Floor for the layer. Then click on the button besides Original Tileset and select the Roof's tileset. Now click on the Original Tile button and select the yellow roof tile. Select the Roof's tileset for the replacement tileset as well, and then select the empty tile directly underneath the yellow roof tile for the replacement tile. Now simply copy and paste the Switch Tile event and connect it to the right node of the Comparison Branch event. Then double click the duplicated Switch Tile event and swap the original tile and replacement tile so that the original tile is now the empty tile and the replacement tile is the yellow roof tile. Select and copy the three events, and then click OK to close the script editor. Now click on the Add button to open the Add Trigger window. Double click on the Add to Left trigger, tick the Controlled By checkbox, and select Player. Then paste your copied events. Now click on the left node of the Comparison Branch event and connect it to the Switch Tile event to the right. Then do the same for the right node of the Comparison Branch event, only this time connecting it to the Switch Tile event to the left so that they're reversed. Play your map to see your roof in action. Approach the door and you'll see the roof disappear, and when you turn back to leave, the roof will reappear. There's just one last thing we need to do, and that's to turn the bedroom roof off at the start of our game. If you remember, we set up our starting location inside the bedroom, but that means the player will be inside the bedroom while the roof is still on. To fix this, click on the System Triggers button along the main toolbar, and double-click on the Introduction System Trigger. Then right-click and paste your copied events again, only this time deleting the Comparison Branch event and the right Switch Tile event, leaving only the left one. Then simply connect it to the Show Hide interface event. If you want to toggle your roof on and off whilst inside the map editor, you can do so by clicking on the Visualize Layer button from the display toolbar. In the second part of this bonus tutorial, we'll be adding hidden objects and temporary blocking, as well as implementing an autosave feature and removing the black borders that appear around small maps.